Welcome back. We're back. And through the magic of video again, I have continued on. And you know, I want to give you a little pointer here that Cheryl did talk about in one of the class segments, and that is, trial and error. In one of the segments, when we talked about putting on the rim, she had stated, make sure that you clip down far enough on the rim so it doesn't move. Well, I had forgotten that, and I had to redo it because I had my clothespins like this, and as I'm moving my way around, it's not holding very well. So make sure that you get that clothespin down there and hold that thing in. Just so as you're putting on the inside and the outside rim, it does make a huge difference. Years of experience, she's learned that and has passed that on to us.
When you make your own basket, you may find shortcuts on your own that you like to do. And so, experiment. Now, the one thing that I have seen a lot of basket makers do is when I'm lashing the rim on, it's going to the right and it's angling to the right. Some people start with the lasher going from the outside and into the basket. The reason I go from the inside and pull out is because of the leverage that you have to pull this tight. It's easier to pull it tight like this. You can go ahead and put your seagrass in.
Okay.
It's easier to pull this way than to try to reach in and pull this way. So if you are already a basket maker, you might have already noticed that possibly, possibly you have been taught a little bit different way, and that's fine, as long as you get the job done. But I like to have a really nice, tight rim, because if you don't have a nice, tight rim, you can't reshape the basket. And I'm going to reshape this into more of a square.
Having known Cheryl for many years, I can tell you one thing. Cheryl teaches quality work. That is one thing with Cheryl. She has years of experience to back her up, and truly, obviously, when she's teaching 4-H baskets that are going to state and getting gold or blue,
purple at state.
I mean, some of the things that they've done are absolutely incredible. So, learning from Cheryl, you truly are learning from one of the best, and you will have a real quality item when you're done, even at beginner level, which is really nice.
The funny thing is I can go somewhere, and if I see a basket that looks like a basket I taught or that I made, I pick it up and look at the bottom and see if someone has written their name on it and the year. And every now and then I will find baskets at garage sales, or yes, even Goodwill. I'm not sure who wants to give up these kind of baskets to Goodwill.
I don't get it.
But they do. And I'll say, I know that person. They took that basket class from me many years ago. But those baskets usually are pretty dirty and like they haven't really been taken care of. So I try to tell people about the care and feeding of your basket. First of all, at least once a year, typically after the end of the winter, I take my baskets and I go give them a good shower. I'll just go pile them up in the shower.
Really?
And run water on them, and the dirt will just roll off of them, because you have a lot of dust in the wintertime that's settling on your baskets. So part 2 of that is that you can combat that a little bit by using a product called Scott's Liquid Gold, and it's a wood preserver.
Yeah.
And I use the spray kind, and if you spray it on the basket, it helps to repel the dust. It won't totally, but it does help repel the dust.
That's good to know.
So I just pile them in the shower. Plus, these baskets dry out. This is a natural material. I talked about that in the first segment about what reed is. It's a vine that grows in the jungle. And some people might consider it a wood. Well, if you don't take care of your wood furniture with wax or Scott's Liquid Gold, my mother used that on her wood furniture to clean it. I had the sheer joy of using the Scott's Liquid Gold that you had to pour on a rag.
Yes, I remember that.
On paneling, wood paneling. My parents built an addition on the house and it had wood paneling.
That's not a fun chore.
No, it was not. You know how facetious I am.
All right, Cheryl, can we...
Yeah.
Not to interrupt her.
Not to interrupt my
I
stories.
just kind of like to get started on the lashing here. And I'll be honest, this is something that I just would like her to walk me through to start again.
I'll be
would
happy
you be so kind to
Okay, so
walk me through?
So look for your spot on the outside where you overlapped it.
Easier said than done, apparently. All right.
Well, you might have to take a
what
clothespin
in the
off
world?
here and there.
That's how good it is.
It's right there.
Okay.
So it's, you can cut this off in the right place. This is supposed to extend over here so you can angle cut it.
Ah. It's my outside one, so I have a feeling knowing.
Now,
should I redo it?
no, I wouldn't redo it at this point.
Okay.
You do have enough. All right, so
See what I've
she
done.
did. See what I done?
I said, see what I've done.
See what I've
I've
done?
done. See what I've done?
See what I've done there? This should have been extended over here because when you lash the rim on and it's angled, you find my overlap. Okay, so mine is right here.
Yeah.
See that?
That's a good
So you can show that.
yay much. Okay.
Yay much.
Yay much.
Yay much.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do, because you do have enough, just enough of an overlap here, that I'm going to angle cut it.
Okay.
Some things just aren't worth taking the time to go redo it.
And you know, you're new, you're starting, these things will happen.
Especially if it works. Okay, so where this overlap is,
Okay.
you don't want to start behind it because then you'll cover this. And this rim can move around a tiny, tiny bit. Depends on how secure it is. So I typically like to go to this next side.
Okay.
And I'm just going to take the clothespins off so that you have that area right there
Okay.
that you can then use the tool and go up through there just like that.
And
You want
do I do the oval on the outside or the oval on the inside, Cheryl?
You lay the oval to the up against the basket side.
Okay. All
Because
right.
you're going to come over like this and you want your oval side to be on the outside.
Okay, so I'm going to go up through that
Mm-hmm.
in the front of the seagrass,
Right.
correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then I remember candy cane,
Mm-hmm.
and I am going to like this.
Right. But take your tool out.
Okay. And pull this out away.
No. You're going to use your tool.
Oh, okay.
So, you're going to use your tool. So you've got it up here.
Mm-hmm.
You take your clothespin or your, and then you're going to stick that
I
down
see.
through
I
here.
see. And hide it.
And then you're going to follow that tool.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Not everyone ends their ends like this. Some people have never been taught, and I wasn't taught this way, but I kind of came up with this method, which hides where you start it and where you end it. some people will just take it around and do some weird things and poke it to the inside. Kind of like they made baskets years and years ago. Yeah, you want this. You actually don't want to take it quite that far down.
You want it on that first thick row.
So
okay.
where she's taking this down here.
As you see, it's visible. Not really pretty there.
No, it's kind of like, what is that thing sticking out there? Now, I tend to try to make it the right length before I
Gotcha.
put it in there. And if I can have that.
And once again, everybody, this is something that's new. And if you're struggling a little bit, go back and re-watch the rim and lashing of the rim.
Your lash buddies.
Oh, I've been excited about this.
She's easily excitable. Okay, so you're going to use this tool first just to get your first one started.
Okay.
And make a hole. And put it through. Now you can start using your lash buddies.
And what this reminds me of is a basting stitch, like when you're hemming your pants or hemming a skirt. It's really, in essence, a basting stitch. I believe that's what it's called.
I think you're right. My mom used to sew, and I think that's what she called it.
I think it's a basting stitch.
But I failed. Do you have the second one? Because we want 2 lash buddies.
Oh, that's right.
So we're going to start that first one. Our little Missy dog just came down to join us.
Cheryl has the most amazingly sweet dog ever. She came down to visit. Missy and I are quite close.
So then you pull that.
Pull this tight.
Pull that one tight. Now, pull the next one. No, it's not.
Okay.
That's not the next one. That's the second one. This is the next. Oh, I'm sorry. I lied.
Yeah.
I couldn't see that.
It's all good. You can't see my vision here.
So pull that tight. Now you move your lash buddy over to the next one.
I'm telling you, 20 years ago, we didn't have this tool. And this part of the basket intimidated me. Now, let me tell you, if you buy this lash buddy, you will not be sorry. Honestly.
Yeah,
This is amazing.
I buy them retail from a basket making supply place, and if you end up wanting one, I can order one for you, and I won't mark it up any because they're already expensive enough. They're I don't know, $6, $7. I would have to look online.
Cheryl, this is amazingly so much.
Okay, but you forgot to take it through the next one. That's not in there just for no reason.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm apparently overwhelmed with the new tool.
If you have 2 of them going, you've got one through one of them, and then one to start it the next time, because this is a fairly small basket, and this is not huge, but when you make a larger basket, these big loops can, if you pull them all the way, it can be 3 feet long. Seriously. So the rule is, for your sanity, you want to always have it started through at least the next one, so that you don't have to keep checking to see if it's twisted, because you can't untwist it when it's in there. You'll tear the reed up if you untwist it. 4 minutes, you need that. Alright, so while Edie is wrapping up her basket, I'm going to just finish saying a few things because it looks like we only have about 4 minutes left on our memory, and we're to the end. So, again, this was the sample basket that we made in all the segments of the class. However, you do have more spokes that if you want to make it taller, I mean, you have a little bit longer spokes. So if you want to make it taller, you're more than welcome to make it taller. You can deviate from the pattern if you want. So the only other thing is, if I want this squared, then I would take it and I would just cradle it like this, See how I squared that up? It kind of looks like a mailbox right now. So then I turn it to the other side. And I just kind of press it. And then you've got it more squared up. The other thing is some people like to have their basket darker. And for example, you can just grab that tool basket there. Lazy Susan. So this basket, I stained it darker. It's also made with cane, but I did stain it darker. There's a spray stain that was made specifically for baskets. Do not use a commercial product like a spray-on anything to color it. You need to use something if you do want to make it darker or stain it so that it breathes. So there's a recipe years ago that we used to use with Minwax and linseed oil, and I can't even remember what else we used, but it's harder to mix up, and you had to brush it on. So this spray stain that they came out with is awesome, and you just spray it on just like spray paint. Or the other thing that I will do in a pinch, if I run out of my stain, which I do quite often, is instant tea. Yeah, instant tea comes in granules, and you just add water to it. But your ratio is about 1 to 1. So I would put it in a larger spray bottle and put maybe a cup of water and a cup of the instant tea. Shake it up real good, warm water, and then you can test it. If you want it darker, you can add more tea. Then, after that, you can spray it with that Scott's Liquid Gold, because it will make the basket kind of shiny and real pretty, just like if you use that basket stain that has the oil. But it's just really important not to seal up the pores of the basket. That's what dries the basket out. That's what makes them break. So again, back to care and feeding. When you wash them off in the wintertime or after the winter, you're also rehydrating the reed. You can do this with any basket. So just rehydrate it and then let it dry really well. It will mold if you let it sit on a table or if it's sitting on, on top of another basket or something. So you have to be careful about molding. You want to let it totally dry. So if you have a basket that you've been making and you want to leave it out if you're going to go back to it so that it can dry. So anyway,
looks like we're just about out of time, Cheryl.
Yeah, Edie's almost finished, and this was our last segment, so I'm excited that you were able to join us, and we would love to hear any feedback from you with any questions, maybe anything that you would like to see reiterated or done differently.
Yeah.
And you have my email from that other segment, so anyway,
it has been a really fun evening.
It has.
Thank you so much for joining us.
I just wish I could see who was doing this, but if you do it, you can post your finished project on the website.
We'd love to see it.
So please do that, okay?
Bye.
See you for the next class.